Good day, Pastor. Please, I have a question. Should people called into gospel ministry full-time, especially pastors, work to support themselves financially?
This is a fantastic question. Should people that are called into the ministry, especially people that call themselves pastors, should they work to earn money or not? Doesn't the Bible say that the workman or the laborer is worthy of his hire? But in answering that question, you ask yourself so many questions. When you say the laborer is worthy of his hire, now who hired you as a pastor? If you're just starting a ministry and you do not have any support system, who hired you? If a big church or a big congregation hired you as a pastor, then that big church will pay your salary. But if you're just stepping out and you do not have any big church, or any family, or anybody to support you, now what's your support system? How would you get money? You will eventually become a nuisance. I've been in the ministry for close to 30 years, and I know what it means not having money or not being financially sufficient. If you do not work to earn money, you will eventually become a nuisance. People will be running away from you. I'm talking from experience. I wanted to share this message with as many people as possible that call themselves pastors who are struggling with finances or who do not have money to take care of themselves or their family in the name of doing ministry or in the name of being a pastor. If you're a pastor, you have no right to say, I do not have money because I'm not working. Why are you not working? Why don't you have money? It's a shame to say something like that. You know, I'm a pastor myself and I can communicate with my kind. Now, this message is only meant for people that love pastors, that love people that are in the ministry, or you have someone that you're concerned about, not for people that hate pastors. So if you get this message and you feel you can use it to prove a point that pastors are fake, it's going to work against you later. But it's meant for people that genuinely love pastors and you want it to be well with someone in your life that is called to the work of the ministry. If you're a pastor and you do not work to earn money and you do not have a support system that will give you money, you will eventually be a living dead. You will just be existing and life will be ebbing out of you because you don't have any means of livelihood. If you claim that God has called you, then He must provide for you. How come for more than 10, 20 years, He hasn't been providing? Wait a minute, is God that wicked? Something is wrong somewhere. Most people hide under the guise that they are pastors because they are lazy, because they don't want to do anything. I am a publisher, among so many other things that I do. God has gifted me with skills, and I use the skills to make money. I remember many years ago when I was about doing one of my jobs, and one boy that has always noticed me, that I go up and down, running around to make ends meet, just asked me one day, he said, Pastor, please, I want to ask you a question. I've been thinking about something for a long time, and I said I will ask you. I said, what is it? He said, how come you go about working? Many pastors that are very successful that I know do not work. Then he started citing examples of big pastors that they don't work and they are well to do. They have a lot of money. I laughed. I said, most pastors that you think do not work but have a lot of money have investments. They have things that they do that you might not know. It's just because you see me running around here that you feel I'm not doing the same thing that they do. If you call yourself a pastor and you don't have more than 20 people in your church, there is no time you will not be under pressure. There's no time you won't want to put people under pressure to pay tithes, to pay offerings. You understand what I'm talking about? That's why this message is important. You must pray and let God show you what you have to do to earn money so that you will be free from pressure. A lot of pastors cannot take care of their wives and children. And if you ask them, they will say, you know, I don't work, I'm a pastor. It's a shame to hear that you call yourself a pastor and you don't work. So what does a pastor do? The work of a pastor is one of the most difficult works in the whole universe. So you are working and you must be paid. However, if you do not have a support system, you must get out to do something secularly. You must have something that you do to support yourself. Now you can imagine, we live in the digital era. You can even do things online without having to leave your house. So you have enough time to pray, enough time to read the Bible. Then you can go online and start some businesses and make cool money by being online. Then you are doing the work of the ministry. You are making millions of naira and you are not under pressure, and you will not be putting pressure on people to bring money or that they should take care of you. I'm talking about genuinely called pastors. There are many people that call themselves pastors that are crooks. I'm not talking about those ones. I'm talking about people who are genuinely called to be pastors. You know, we've come to a point now that people don't know the difference because of the bad eggs. I'm not talking about the bad eggs. I'm talking about you. If you're really called of God, God will speak to you and show you something to do that will give you extra income, that will give you a lot of money, that you would never have to depend on the church. I do businesses and I make money, so I know what it means to be financially financially okay and you are not under pressure to preach to 2 people, 10 people, it doesn't even concern you how many people are in your church because you are financially okay. Now, many years ago, I knew a lady just casually. She was a cashier at a particular bank. The bank is now defunct. I knew she was a believer. She was very nice. In fact, there was one time I was almost stranded because I wasn't with my checkbook or something like that. She gave me money and she said, next time you come, you can pay it or you can pay it into my account. She was that nice. I just knew her casually at the bank. I was newly married then. I had a wife and a set of twins, newly born babies at home. So I needed that money. That was when I went to the bank. So many times when I went to that bank, I would always say thank you because she was quite nice. Now I'm talking about around 2001. So around 2002, we left Ibadan and we moved back to Ilorin. And I'd even forgotten that I knew this woman. For all you care, I did not even know her name. She was just a cashier. It's just like going to any bank and a cashier attends to you. So, about 7 years later, my family moved to Lagos. And one day, I received a phone call, and the person at the other end of the line happened to be this lady that I used to know at that bank. She kept describing herself. For all you care, I'd forgotten about her, but she kept describing herself. And she now mentioned that I was the one that gave you money one time when you came to the bank. So, the picture was forming a bit. Of course, I'd forgotten because she was just an acquaintance at that bank. I never met her somewhere else. So it was difficult for me to remember. So she said she needed to see me urgently. I was in Lagos. I knew her in Ibadan. How did she know my whereabouts? Where did she get my phone number? Because I changed phone numbers several times. And around 2001, mobile phone was just in the process of being introduced to Nigeria. How did she get my contact? How did she get my phone number? I didn't just understand. I didn't have an office at that time. So when she called me, we had to wait for her somewhere in the car. And she met me and my wife in the car. So myself and her went somewhere and talked. When I saw her, I could still remember her. Then she started the story. She wasn't looking well. I think she eventually lost her job just maybe a year or two after we had left Ibadan because the particular bank she was working in became defunct. Then she told me she got married to a man that said God told him he should not work, that is a pastor. This lady had lost her job. Now, before she lost her job, she was the one sponsoring everything in the family. Now she has lost her job. They did not have any food to eat. They didn't have any clothes to wear again. The children couldn't be sponsored to school. And this man kept saying God warned him that he should not work, that he should just face the work of the ministry. And they were dying. It were not working for them. The children were out of school. This woman was looking haggard. And how did she locate me? She said she was praying one day and she saw a vision, and she saw me in the vision trying to tell her something. And the Spirit of God told her to look for me. Can you imagine? Then I told her a lot of things that I'm telling you today. So many people think they heard God tell them something and they misinterpret it. They say, God told me I should not work. God can never tell you not to work without telling you how he's going to support you. God will never tell you to go into the ministry to be a nuisance to people. I want to pass this message across to many pastors today. If you're underpaid where you're working, perhaps a big ministry has employed you and you are underpaid, and the ministry is telling you you must not do extra things to support yourself, resign from that ministry, go somewhere else, perhaps to another ministry that will pay you well or allow you to do some extra things to support yourself in addition to the salary that you are being paid. If not, you are going to eventually become a nuisance to people. I'm telling you the truth here. So many people don't even want to pick your call as a pastor when you call them, because perhaps when they see that you are the one calling them, they may be thinking you want to ask them for money. I faced that situation many years ago, and I discovered that when people say they are with you, they will support you, they will not. They laugh at you when you are not with them. They look down on you. They complain about you. They don't want to see you around because they feel you are always coming to beg. Anywhere your name is mentioned, they think about someone that needs something from them. So I always make up my mind, I will never be someone that people think they will be avoiding because perhaps I want to collect money from them because I'm a pastor. Rather, I've decided to be a giver anywhere I go to. Most places where I'm invited to come and preach, I will tell them, I don't need any honorarium. You don't have to pay me. Except very close friends of mine that will call me and say, no, DJ, we have to pay you. I'm not saying you shouldn't receive honorariums if you go to preach, but if you're not financially okay, please go out and do something. Go out and earn money. Don't be saying, I'm a pastor, I'm not working. You are meant to earn money. If you have children and you are not taking care of them in the name of the fact that you are a pastor, you are just a shame to Christianity. You must work. You must earn money. Gone are those days where you say you can't do some works because you are doing the work of the ministry. Now, we live in the digital era. There are so many things you can learn to do online without even leaving your house. Go and do it and earn money. In fact, you can earn a lot of money that you are the one that will be sponsoring most of the projects in your church. God will bless you so much that you have enough money and you will never have to depend on anybody. You preach the truth without looking at people's faces because you are afraid to hurt them. If you hurt some people that are already giving to you or supporting you now, what would they do? So many people that have been a blessing to down through the years, some of them will block you. They won't want you to reach them. Why? Because they feel you want to ask them for something. Pastoral work is one of the most difficult works that you can have. That is, if you are truly called of God. I'm not even talking about people who are not called, who are just crooks. I'm talking about true men of God that are truly called, who are financially incapacitated. There is nothing stopping you from working. It's not going to destroy your ministry work. It will enhance it. You can imagine you earning money, earning millions. You can go to churches and collaborate with some ministers, telling them you want to preach in their churches, that you don't need their honorariums. Instead, you are the one that give them money for coming to preach in their churches. Why? Because you want to be a blessing to people. That's how ministry work should be run. Enough of, I'm a pastor, I'm not working, I don't have money. So you don't expect your wife to depend on you for money. You don't expect your children to depend on you for money. That's a shame. In fact, you shouldn't be able to stand up to teach other people. What are you teaching? You are teaching what you are not practicing yourself. I earn money and I teach people in my church how to earn money. As a matter of fact, they even look up to me to want to hear what I will tell them about what to do to earn money because I do it myself. Don't fold your arms and say, I'm not working. Now let me ask you, what do you do 24 hours? Read the Bible? It's a shame. Go and do something. If you have been employed somewhere where they don't pay you well, find out how you can plan things yourself and how you can set out to do things that will earn you money to support yourself. Gone are those days when they will say you can't work and they will be paying you meager salary in ministries. Today, you can secretly go online and learn how to do digital marketing. You can be doing all those things online. You have your spare time and you are making money. Your GO will not know. You make enough money and you'll be able to have rest of mind to face your ministry, be a blessing to your wife, be a blessing to your children, and you will not be complaining up and down that you don't have money. And every time you call people, they know you want to ask for money. Enough is enough. Every pastor must be empowered. Every pastor can be a millionaire by working hard and by learning new skills. You are supposed to be an example to the people you lead. So should pastors work to support themselves? They should work not only to support themselves, to be an example to the congregation that they lead. I believe I've been able to answer your question. Well, I'm DJ Goodman, your responsibility coach. I challenge you to stay responsible, be in charge, and be in control. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.